This episode of Herm Schrader is proudly brought to you by Fox Factory Vehicles. Fox Factory Vehicles delivers the thrill. Their turnkey, hassle-free custom trucks and SUVs are built to dominate any terrain, all while retaining their factory warranty. Do you want more power? Go supercharged. Build and price your dream ride today at foxfactoryvehicles.com. Fox Factory Vehicles, where performance meets precision. And Herm Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform. From the middle of America in St. Louis, Missouri, starts right now.
The Fox truck that you had, that looked like it would go places that I didn't even want to go. That thing looked like it would go anywhere.
I would pull into these racetracks with my built Fox Factory. It was a Dodge, and man, it had a 2500 Cummins in it. And all I'd pull into Peevely Speedway or Brownstown, and everybody'd look at me. I tell you what, man, those trucks
they stare
are
at
popular.
you anyway if you haven't noticed, but never mind. Go ahead.
Hey, you know, I know we got a big show lined up. We did a lot, Kenny and Charlie. I'm sure you watched. Got a lot to say about Charlie. Those Cardinals are on a roll. But yeah, one thing I liked about my Fox Factory vehicle is it had a Jake brake on it. And man, it would help you slow down. And buddy, that thing had some power. And it was a lot of fun. And there'll be more about our new sponsor, Fox Factory Vehicles. So you guys ready to get to it?
We're ready.
Yes,
Waiting
sir.
on you.
Kenny Schrader it is all about you and Ann and my wife, Kim, and myself. This is the part where I say, Schrader, what'd you do over the weekend?
Yeah. Well,
Schrader, what'd you do all week?
Yeah. What we did from basically 2 weeks ago, we left. We left on a Wednesday. So basically 2 weeks ago, we left to go up to the Traverse City, Michigan, where the Kyle Petty charity ride started. And the ride started, we didn't make it up there Wednesday. We got up there Thursday afternoon. The ride started Saturday morning. And, 125 bikes and people from all over the country. We had people from Florida that rode their bikes up to Michigan. People from out west that rode up there, people that shipped bikes. So we took off Traverse City. We took off in the rain, which set the stage for, I would say, a third of our ride was in some kind of precipitation. And I don't know. I've done it the last 4 years. This was your third year, I believe. Yes, this was your third year in a row.
Yeah.
And you meet people on that ride. Now, I say you meet them. We only had like 20 new riders this year. So we had over 100 that, had been there before. But you meet people, and Kyle talks about becoming family. Well, you talk to all these people over the course of the week. And you know what? You might... Everybody's got a name tag on, which is a good thing, because out of the 125 bikes, there's probably close with the team that Kyle assembles to do all the different things. There's 275 people or so, and you just meet so many good people and people that are all there for the same reason. First, we get to ride the bikes, which is fun, in an organized, very, very organized ride. We're talking as far as hotels and food and everything, but that's just raising money for the Victory Junction Gang Camp, and it is fun. Look forward to it every year.
Yeah, and we're going to spend the better part of the first 20 minutes talking about this. And Charlie, you always say that you're a new race fan. This is a heartfelt reminder of why we all go to the Kyle Petty charity ride, and I think they raise about $2 million every ride. That seems to be the figure, Kenny.
Yeah, it's right in there. But now it costs a lot more than that to run the camp for a year.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
this is
yes.
it's a smaller part of a small part of the fundraising necessary for the camp, but
Yeah.
it's probably the biggest one thing.
So just a reminder, everybody, Kyle Petty's son, Adam, lost his life in turn 3 at Loudon, New Hampshire. Kyle Petty told just a small story while we were on the Kyle Petty cherry ride. He said, Adam saw something like the Victory Junction gang camp before he passed away. And he said, Dad, why don't we do something like this? And of course, Kyle remembered that. And when we all lost Adam, Kyle said, that's what we're doing. We're doing what Adam talked about. So this Kyle Petty charity ride is because of his son that he lost, Adam. And yeah, like you said, Kenny, we're always raising money, but this ride is heartfelt. Kenny, last year we went to the Victory Junction gang camp, and man, it's I think in the Midwest we call it gigantic. It is a big park, and it's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget how many kids go through there in the course of the year, but they got doctors and nurses and all kind of medical stuff. Place for a helicopter to land if there was a big problem. But they bring in the kids with different problems. They bring them all in for 1 week, and then it's amazing. We had the opportunity last year to be walked around with one of the campers, and that's the kids that come. He said, if you want to really learn about this place, get a camper. And we were fortunate enough to get one of the campers that was there and walked us through. And it's amazing. It's just, I don't know. We've kind of changed our stuff, and that's our primary deal now, because who can argue with, helping kids?
Yeah. Especially when we go on this ride, it's kind of like you need to go. You don't need to, but it is really good to look at the Victory Junction gang camp first, because you see kids coming in wheelchairs. You see kids coming in on crutches, and they're fishing. They're in the swimming pool. They're trying to do archery. Yeah. So that is why we are raising money, everybody. Charlie, have you got children? Do you know about this Victory Junction gang camp?
It's interesting. I actually had a buddy in high school before I knew anything about the NASCAR. And I remember one of his volunteer hours, or there was a summer where he actually volunteered at that Victory Junction camp before I knew anything about Adam Petty and the Kyle Charity Ride. This is probably 25 years ago or so.
Yeah.
We raced down to West Virginia Saturday night, and there was a lady there that so far she has volunteered 40 weeks at the camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big. Okay, just a reminder, everybody, what the camp is all about. And, yes, it is fun. The ride is fun. So, Kenny, so I took off with you, and my wife, Kim, of course, you and Ann are professionals. Kenny and Ann Schrader. Yeah, you are. You're our leader.
Go ahead. Kim.
Well, so last year, the last 2 years, my wife Kim has rode with Sharon Petty and Richard Petty in one of the vans. Now, I'm not just talking to Kenny Schrader here, Charlie, but to everybody. I mean, Kenny, how many miles long do you think is the whole deal? Maybe a half a mile long from the people out front all the way back.
No, it gets long. Well, it depends what kind of road it is and how much we get spread out and stuff. But no, it's it can be a couple mile per session.
Yeah. So there's like 4 of these vans, and Kim would ride in one of the vans because my wife was like, I am not getting on a motorcycle with you.
I think your wife's very smart, but let's go ahead.
So after 2 years, at the end of last year, Charlie, my wife says, if you buy a 3-wheeler, if you buy a trike, where I know it's a lot harder to fall down, I will ride with you. And there's Kenny and Ann having the time of their life. She really is.
Oh, no.
And then, we're watching Kenny and Ann on their trike and watching all these wonderful couples not having to worry about falling down at a stoplight or, so I bought a trike. And had Southern Country Customs, my brother and nephew, Stephen Wallace. I bought it from Tilly, Harley Davidson, and then took it to Rusty's and they put my own paint job on it and just added some accessories. It's still very stock. And Kenny, thank you so much, you and Ann, for welcoming Kim in because she's still Kim, but she's a new lady.
Yeah. Well, we took off. We took off in the rain. I said, boy, we're going to break her in right. We met you and you had to run in the rain. We met over at Petrov's and, it's just fun. It's miserable at times, but you never really want to park. You never want to say, heck with this. But I'd say we rode a third of it in the rain. Probably.
Yeah. And I like the process. I was trying to figure out why does my wife, who I consider a normal person, she's not like us. So happy opposites attract because, and I think Ann, your wife, and Kim are, they're off, they recognize what we do, but they ground us because me and you are racing freaks. And it was so nice of you guys to welcome Kim in the way you did. And, it's like Kim is, I'm almost speechless because Charlie, Kim took off in the it was raining so hard. It's like, maybe we should stop. But Schrader kept going.
Well, you don't get to stop. You're on a schedule. You're on a schedule. Your fuel breaks are on a schedule. Your food breaks are on a schedule. Everything on a schedule. And if it starts pouring down raining and it's going to quit in 10 minutes, it doesn't make any difference. You're riding in the rain for 10 minutes, which is the way it has to be. And that's one of the reasons it's so organized. But we did have, first time I ever remember on a ride, we pull in a nice fuel stop. Everything's great. And the fuel pumps quit working. So
that happened to us this year. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to recover just a little bit from that, but it's just great.
Yeah. Okay, so Charlie, I thought a lot about you. Kenny Schrader, I'm not sure if you know it, but Charlie is from Ohio. And boy, we did some riding in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, where are you from in Ohio?
So I'm from Toledo. I'm guessing you probably, from Detroit to Cleveland, you probably passed near there, right?
We skirted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, where I'm from, actually, if you go like 500 yards from my house is the Michigan line.
Yeah, I'll be damned. Well, we were there then pretty much. So, Kenny, we go by Bailey's, as you call it, Bailey Land. And we did, by the way, that coffee with Kenny that we did on Old Blue. So you took us to John Bailey and Julie Bailey. That coffee with Kenny, I don't know what it is about history. That thing is like over 60,000 views. What is it, guys, that resonates about J.D. McDuffie's old truck? I mean, the people ate that up.
Well, people like the old stuff, it's just history. It's neat. You're seeing it. The truck's still operational. And it's what J.D. hauled with years ago. John Bailey, they own Bailey Excavating up there in Jackson, Michigan. John's daddy bought J.D. that truck. They sponsored him for a number of years. He bought him that truck. John Bailey spent the summers, 16, 17, 18 going up and down the road in that truck. So it's just pretty cool.
So to hear the whole download, everybody, on the Kenny Wallace YouTube platform, go over there. Kenny Schrader, Ann Bailey, everybody, we talk about that truck in depth. So that was a highlight. We had a good time there at Bailey's. Then we rolled up to Traverse City. It was cold, but it was tolerable.
It was wet, very wet.
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 We rolled in. We looked like a bunch of rag dolls, Charlie. And the Cal Petty, Ellie is her name. This lady named Ellie. She's in charge of social media. She gets Kenny and Ann and me and Kim. We get off our bikes and we look like rag dolls. And they're like, they made it. I'm like, are you surprised?
Could have went either way. Yeah. Only got lost.
Kenny,
made one wrong turn on that trip.
That was only because you had to hide your phone because it started hailing on us a little bit.
Yeah. So,
all right. We do 4 big things and just want to gloss over them real quick. But here's what we did. We went to the Henry Ford Museum, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, went to Niagara Falls, and rode our bikes around the Watkins Glen racetrack. So, Kenny, what stood out with you at the Henry Ford Museum? What was your favorite top 2 exhibits?
I don't say I got a favorite. All of it. I mean, you can spend a couple days in that place. It's just amazing. You learn so much. I think that was the 3rd time I've been there, but I've never been there and we had like 4 hours, which is a drop in the bucket. But it was the right amount of time for the trip. Because believe it or not, everybody wants to get back on the motorcycles and go.
Yeah.
You know, but the Henry Ford, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I thought, I don't even know if I need to go in there because I could care less. Music goes in one ear and out the other. Guess nothing in there stops it. But I just don't. I'm not a music person. But that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Riding
so
around
I'll
Watkins
go with
Glen
you.
was cool.
Everything. It's so weird. You and I run thousands of miles around that racetrack, but when we're on our motorcycles, it's like you just see it. And we got to take the long course, which have you ever raced on the long course?
No, never raced on a long course. I've been around it before. Hey, it was pretty cool. We had an off day in Niagara Falls, which everybody did different stuff. I didn't go on the Maid of the Mist. You went on that along with a bunch of others. And Kyle brought that up next day because it's like everybody, we ride no matter what, rain or shine. But everybody doesn't really like the rain, but we ride in it. But then afterwards you complain about it and stuff. And then we have an off day and you pay money. Pay money to put on a poncho and go down and get soaked.
Yeah.
So
that was funny.
I don't want to hear nothing about the rain anymore. Okay. So it's good.
Here's what's crazy. My wife loves us riding in the rain and says it's peaceful. I'm like, what?
It's because she's riding, not driving.
I think last year she watched you and I go through the hail from Churchill Downs. Last year's ride, Churchill Downs to the Corvette Museum, we got hailed on. So Kim's like, they ride in the rain. So when you and I rode in the rain, she like, I just thought that's what you do.
Yeah. Well, you learned out real quick because some people ride in the rain and they stop. And, if we go inside someplace to eat or something, and they're dry as can be. And other ones, it's like, ooh, my rain gear isn't right, or I need to learn how to properly install my rain gear, which makes a big difference. And what's really cool, because, I ride quite a bit, but there's some people on that ride a lot. We had Bill Davidson from Harley Davidson on that ride. And they ride a lot. And you learn the stuff you learn, the little tips you learn about riding.
Yes.
It's really cool.
You bring up a good point. I said it's like when you and Rusty and all the NASCAR drivers, when you all had your airplanes, whether it was your pilot, Earl, when everybody was owning airplanes, I couldn't communicate with them, but they were all talking about airplanes and the motorcycles. You bring up a great point. it's like we all learn. We don't try to outdo each other. Everybody's got their little idiosyncrasies. And I'm like, you bring up a good point, Kenny. That is what's fun about motorcycle riding. It's like, what do you do here? What about, my ass hurts. What do you do? So,
Yeah. Take an aspirin.
okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
that was funny because Kim's like, my ass hurts. And I said, well, let's talk to these people, Kim. And that lady looks at Kim and goes, oh, honey, your ass is going to hurt no matter what. You got to learn that when you ride 3,000 miles, your ass is going to hurt,
Mhm.
Okay. When I went with you all to the Henry Ford Museum, the exhibit that I kept staring at, and this was like that oh my God moment, was Abraham Lincoln's chair that he got assassinated in. It just seemed like the bloodstains were still in it. Whether it was bloodstains or not, I perceived it as bloodstains.
It's pretty old. Could have some other stains.
They said he was so tall that they had to bring that chair in for him, at that event that night. So Abraham Lincoln was so tall. You even
How tall
see at
was
the
he,
White
Charlie?
House. Charlie, how tall was Abraham Lincoln?
I think he was 6'4", but I'll look it up.
Well, they even say that the Lincoln Room at the White House, that they had to make a special bed for him. So he was tall. But anyway, that was
6'4".
my favorite. 6'4". Well,
Yeah.
that's tall, but that ain't freaky tall.
No.
We got some baseball players touching 6. I mean, how tall is that? Mikey, he's 6'2".
I think he's more than that.
Yeah.
Or was.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the exhibits were through the roof awesome, but the highlight was watching Kyle Petty and our people jam. They have 2 full-time employees at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you're like, that Kyle Petty and some of our people. We had a great drummer and a great guitarist.
And Rick Allen.
And oh my God. And Rick Allen. Rick Allen, the voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my highlight. And just seeing how many great artists who have changed people's lives. Niagara Falls, for me, the highlight was definitely saying, Kim, you're a changed lady. You're on a motorcycle. Now get your ass to the front of this boat, and we're going to run right into this water. And she did. She did. It was like hurting. It's like it was complete chaos. And I said, Kim, you're not leaving. You're staying here. I'm with you, honey. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, Kim, man, she's a changed lady.
So I was up top with you later, and we're wondering about. So you're in a boat first time, or a raft, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're coming down the river, and it's like, ruh-roh, paddle, paddle, paddle the other way. It's like, that couldn't have been good right at the start.
Charlie, listen to this, and we'll wrap up the Kyle Petty charity ride. We've spent a little time on it, but it's well worth it.
It's great.
Herm Schrader said, how did this happen? I said, Ann, I don't really know how it happened. but
this was the 29th annual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Ooh, and speaking, that was the 29th annual Kyle Petty charity ride. Next year, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be big because it's going to be the 30th annual.
Yeah.
What have you heard, Schrader?
Just going to be longer ride. I think they do it every 5 years. But, I mean, I hear coast to coast, which they've done. They did the one year, they did Seattle to somewhere in Florida. I wasn't there that year.
Yeah.
Seattle to down, I think, southern Florida. And it rained on them the whole damn time.
Kyle said it like they'd go to bed. They were at the front of the storm. They'd go to bed. It was sleep and wake up, and here come and you're still in the rain. Just followed the rain all the way across the coast.
Yep.
My gosh. Very last thing. Ann made me think. So they got a really good movie at Niagara Falls. And basically what happened, obviously there's the elevation change, but the falls are so strong that it was destroying. making it 3 foot deeper a year. So imagine this water just pounding, and it was, getting rid of 3 foot. So it kept getting deeper and deeper. So our engineers went up there, maybe a half a mile up, and put these gates down. And do you know, was it 1960 something? I got it here in my phone, but they literally shut off the water. Man, they had to, because they started to see, hey, let me see right here. Niagara Falls shut down. I got it on my phone. June 12th, 1969, the waters of the American Falls shut down. It happened in 1969 when the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers stopped the flow of water to the American Falls. Called dewatering a temporary dam cutoff water from the Niagara River and set it to Canada's Horseshoe Falls. Crews took samples and studied rock formations, because if they let it keep going, it was going to turn into the Grand Canyon. So I couldn't really answer Ann. She says, just how did it happen? I said, I think it just was nature, and now they had to learn to preserve it.
The only disappointment I had with the falls was Rutledge Wood said he was going to go over in a barrel, and I missed it or he was kidding, because I never heard about him going over in a barrel.
Okay, Kenny, and I mean this, don't laugh at me. Ever since I've been a child, I can remember you riding around that little pickup truck with that pad of notes. You're good at penmanship. You keep records. And the Kyle Petty charity ride on Sunday night, you and Ann took a picture of you guys at home, and they posted it all over social media. I don't want to steal this, but I see the figures. How many miles did you ride?
I told her it was right at 32, a little under 32.
Yep. Kenny Schrader and Ann Schrader rode 3,185 miles.
But that's no miles. I mean, it's over however many days. It's a neat event, but it's it's not a hardcore ride, but it's a fantastic event.
Kim and myself rode 2,546 miles. Kenny and Ann Schrader rode 640 more miles than Kim and I, because my dumbass left Thursday morning because I wanted to come home and race. I felt bad when I was watching all the videos afterwards. So I will try to do a better job next time, and, do my very best to stay the whole time.
Yeah. And I've done that. I've done that same thing because, you don't race the weekend that we're starting.
Yeah.
And you don't, if you do the whole ride, you don't race. I got lucky Saturday night. I was able to race in Nona, West Virginia, because that was on the way home, and it was only like 3.5 hour ride Saturday morning. The ride, they have a banquet, just the final dinner Friday night, which Rick Mass showed up. Got to sit.
He called me.
Yeah, I got to sit with Rick and Robin Pemberton and a bunch.
That was badass. He said that Rick Mass showed up. He said it wasn't far from his house, and he chewed my butt out. He says, Herman, I come to see your wife, because in my early days, I said I married my wife, Kim, because she looked like Raquel Welch. So he'll never forget that. And Rick Mass goes, I came to see Raquel, damn it, and you weren't there. And I said, darn it, so okay. I hope you all enjoyed our look at the Kyle Petty charity ride. And we could do the whole show on it.
Hey, okay, because I'm not the social media guy.
Stop it.
But anybody wants to look at this, I guess people are watching this already do all know that stuff, but they really do good. The ride does about their stuff. Outstanding job of posting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, Kenny, and it's a great reminder. Everybody just go to the Kyle Petty charity ride. That's it. on all social media, and everything's right there. Kyle Petty Charity Ride. And then, of course, Kyle has his own social media, Kyle Petty. But yeah. Okay. First up, all right, everybody. That is our look back at the Kyle Petty Charity Ride. We told you what it's all about and why we do it. And it's also fun and it's exhausting, but it's rewarding. First up, Kenny and Charlie, this is where you really come involved because you see it all. And you guys kind of brought this subject up. When I say you guys, the sports, whether it's baseball, football. So, Kenny, this one's really interesting and it shocked me, but I see it and I've watched it coming for a while. Is entertainment taking over sports more now than ever? Because Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Amy Earnhardt got on their show and they said, we went to the Formula One race in Miami. And they said, as you would say, oh my God. They said the entertainment, the vibe, just everywhere. It was like they were doing their damnedest to explain it. And it makes me think of that, you go to Talladega. How many people are there for the party in the infield? You go to the Indianapolis 500. How many people are there for the snake pit? So, Charlie, you go first. What's going on with all sports? I'm seeing this everywhere now. What is So for people to go to sporting events now, is it because we need to drink beer and party? And by the way, there's a sport going on. This is a bigger phenomenon than in the past.
Yeah, I think you have your hardcore fans. They're always going to want to go see the game or the race. But a lot of people, maybe you're a casual fan. You just want to have fun with your friends. You want to go. You want to drink. You want to be in a cool atmosphere, maybe have some music. I've been to a Cardinals game. Look, my son is not even 4. I tried to take him to a game last year. It was a nightmare because he had no interest in the game. But guess what? They have a playground in center field. So he looks at Busch Stadium. He thinks it's a big playground. You got to have stuff for kids there, right? I'll tell you what, I went to another Cardinals game about a month ago, only game I've been to this year. And I basically bought these tickets from a charity auction. It was the greatest setup ever. I almost never want to go to a game if I'm not sitting in this certain club where you have an outdoor seat, you can sit inside, you had a bartender, you had a buffet, you had a bathroom for just you guys. And I know it feels uppity. I never buy tickets like that, but after going in that section, I was like, I don't ever want to go sit in the stands again. That's how nice it was in this particular club we were in. And it was honestly worth the price of that ticket.
Kenny, listen to this. I'm sure you've had to hear about them now. Savannah Bananas. They're a fake baseball team. And they are the new Harlem Globetrotters. For some of you kids, I don't think anybody's listening to this that is a kid, but the Harlem Globetrotters were a basketball team that did tricks while they were playing a lesser team. Yeah.
Well, I think the other team was the Harlem Globetrotters too. I mean, wasn't the other team Harlem Globetrotters? I mean, both teams were. One of them was the Harlem Globetrotters.
It was the Washington Generals that would always play against, that traveled with them.
Yeah, traveled with them. They were Globetrotters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the point is entertainment becoming bigger than sports? So listen to this. The Savannah Bananas, which is a fake baseball team, and they're funny, they're entertaining, they play music, sold out a 70,000 Nashville, right, Charlie? I mean, it's all over. Sold out. They're not even real. It's not even real. That's where we're at right now. What is your take, Kenny?
I don't think it's any different. It's never been.
Really?
I mean, yeah. They were partying in the infield at the Cup races forever. Way before we were ever there. Way before that. They said the worst or best, depends how you look at it. The biggest party used to be Darlington, Southern 500. When they get everybody in there Friday and Saturday, but you couldn't race on Sunday. So they did nothing in the infield but party on Sunday. And then the Southern 500 would always be Labor Day, Monday. I think it's been going on forever. It's just that a lot of the stadiums, tracks, whatever, have just reached out and tried to up their game to give the fans a more experience, bigger experience.
Yeah. Well, I just see and listen to a lot of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Amy, and they just said that this Formula One vibe was like something. It changed them. I mean, I think it was on Bless Your Heart, or maybe it was on the download. But of course, I was like, oh boy. And then all of a sudden Junior goes, but I think NASCAR's better entertainment. But it is changing. They just said this whole vibe of this there's a race going on, but this whole vibe of the big bass music. And that's a question. Has the partying slowed down in NASCAR? Has it? I mean, is there less partying in NASCAR? Why is everybody's all up in arms about how great Formula One entertainment is?
Well, I don't know. Everybody's all up in arms about it. Dale and Amy liked it. It's the biggest racing series in the world. We're the biggest in the States. It's the biggest in the world. So I don't know. I don't think anything's changed. It's just got bigger.
And with that, everybody, we want to thank our new sponsor, Fox Factory Vehicles. And so exciting, Kenny, to have our first major sponsor, Fox Factory Vehicles. And I loved my truck. And what I loved about it most was the 2500 Cummins diesel. You just give it a little bit of gas and that baby took off. I had no problem passing anybody. And I live on Herman's Hill, and you come up my hill here, with the trailer. Yeah. And it reminds me of an Indy car, the Fox Factory Vehicle truck. The shifting is like a little paddle on the steering wheel. Mine was a Dodge, and you just ding, 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 bring it down. And that old Fox Factory Vehicle just right up that hill. I loved it. So, all right, everybody, check out Fox Factory Vehicles. Remember to go to foxfactoryvehicles.com. Build and price your dream ride today at foxfactoryvehicles.com. Okay, I hate to go this way, but it happened, Kenny, last night. And don't blame this on me. Please, because I know you're going to go, what am I going to do? But I was shocked to hear Kyle Larson. Charlie's the one that posted it. Blame Charlie, actually. Charlie posted it. Kyle Larson does a press conference. Of course, he's been dominating lately. We know that. But Kyle Larson goes there, and I'm like, oh, no, Schrader is not going to like this. Kyle Larson says, yeah, we need to do something. We need to maybe up the horsepower. The NASCAR Cup racing is getting stale. And I went, no. Now what?
Well, I wasn't aware of that because I don't follow that stuff.
Yeah.
But I know that I think, and I don't know all the numbers, but I think those cars need more power. I think they need a lot more power. I know that in Atlanta, and I think we talked about this before, in Atlanta in 1997, how many years ago?
Yeah.
Close to 30, 28 years ago, right? 1997, Jeff Bodine ran a 27.08 to get the pole.
Yeah.
This year, the pole was a 30.90. That's close to 4 seconds slower. Did Atlanta become a drafting track because they put 4 more degrees bank in it or whatever? So, no, they slowed the cars down so damn much that you don't have to let off. So I think the cars do need more power.
Charlie, this is where you come in. How did this press conference, how did this happen? You followed
So just
it.
to clarify, sure. So this was his Saturday media availability before he even got the poll. And to be fair, I did post the clip. He was asked about it. So he didn't come out and just and if you actually watch, it's only about 30 seconds. It wasn't like he was bashing NASCAR. He basically said there's been reports, and I think also Tony Stewart suggested upping the horsepower, and I think it was from 670 to 750. And Kyle Larson said, yeah, I think that would help. It'd be a good start. I don't know if that would be everything. But he said, look, I do think the racing product has gotten a bit stale. That's what he said. He said a bit stale. And he said, I think we need changes. Then he said drastic changes. So it wasn't like he was pounding his fist. He was asked about it. But I think in a very respectful way, he gave his opinion saying, yes, we need to make the racing product better. And then the next day, he dominates everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might appear to be a better race if he'd friggin' slow down.
Yeah.
And okay, that's funny, but that is the subject matter. Listen, okay, everybody, clean the slate. New subject. When Jimmy Johnson was dominating, it is of my opinion, this is me. People did not give Jimmy Johnson the credit he deserved. Now, it's only the purist, only like the people inside the industry, the greats. I see Jimmy Johnson get the credit he's deserved when he hangs around people that are like-minded. Like when he goes over to Europe, they're like, oh, Jimmy Johnson. But Jimmy Johnson in America, he does not get the credit he deserves because he completely destroyed the field. 5 championships in a row. And the fans had it in their mind that he had something special. So
he did.
Kenny, I think we're witnessing, greatness with Kyle Larson. What is your thought? Because now this is the subject matter. Kyle Larson's winning too much. Like Jimmy Johnson.
Kyle's obviously fast. Big time. This third race he's won this year, right? I think
he wins them all by a straightaway.
Yeah, but it's the third race he's won this year. We're not even close to talking. Third race he's won. I mean, I bet on Kyle Larson every week. I take Kyle every week. I don't care the track. I'll take Kyle. But his third race he's won this year on top of one championship. We're not in the Jimmy Johnson record yet.
I agree. I just think that is a whole nother hour show because Jimmy Johnson won all those championships in every different way. I mean, old point system, new point system, that car, this car. I just don't think Jimmy Johnson gets the credit he deserves. And the only reason we're talking about Jimmy Johnson right now is because of Kyle Larson. But yeah. Okay, well, NASCAR keeps on rolling. In the meanwhile, Kenny Schrader said something to our old boss, Mike Helton. And I really liked it, Kenny. When we went to Rockingham, you said, hey, boss, we're trending in the right direction, though, aren't we? So there's a reason NASCAR just keeps trending up, Charlie and Kenny. While we complain, while there's a group of people that complain, everything just keeps trending up. What is with that? Why is it trending up if everybody keeps complaining? What's going on there?
More people are watching, more people are going. Yesterday's crowd, I was a little bit, and it's hard to tell from TV. I was a little bit disappointed in yesterday's crowd compared to some of the other crowds I've seen this year. But overall, it's gaining momentum. It's not on a steep rise, but it's going the right direction. So
Yeah.
you can
Well, I
beat
know
this
one thing.
stuff to death. It's just it's not going away. It's getting better. And
Yeah.
sorry, Kyle. Sorry, Kyle Larson's winning too much. Sorry, he wins in the sprint car too. Sorry, he runs good at Indy. Sorry, he wins in the midget. Wonder what the common denominator is. He's very, very talented, and he's with good teams.
Well said, Kenny Schrader. And Charlie, when the New England Patriots were dominant, winning all the Super Bowls, it was like, okay, they got a great team. But then Tom Brady leaves and goes down to the Tampa Bay, takes Gronk with him, and they win another Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me maybe it's a little bit more about people. Michael Jordan, Kyle Larson, Tom Brady. What is your take? You're a sportster. Is it the people that's the game changer? Or what is it?
Absolutely. Well, I think Belichick and Brady together were great for a couple of decades. But then, hey, when Brady leaves, Belichick isn't great with the Patriots, and Brady wins another Super Bowl with the Bucs, as you said. Now, with Larson, it's funny because Schrader said this is his third win, right? It feels like he's won 10, though, because he wins in trucks, because he wins in Xfinity, because every time you look, he's winning a high limit race, right? So I think that's part of it, too, that you see him winning so many
Every
different
week.
series, right? He's winning like 2 or 3 races a week somewhere, it seems like.
Bell wins 3 in a row at the start of the year.
Oh,
Right?
we forgot about
second
him.
yesterday. Run second yesterday. Well, is that old news?
Good point.
That was, we're however many races in. We just talk about, not we, everyone talks about stuff that just don't make any difference. Just wait till the end of the year to find out who did the best. They'll have a little sheet on the side. They'll line everybody up by points, and that's who did the best.
Can I say, though, real quick, just about Larson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know you want to move on, but I think, to me, the difference, he dominated. I thought the racing, the passing at Kansas was great. And I think hardcore NASCAR fans, they're okay with the dominant car winning if it looks good. Off the restarts, they're 3, 4, 5 wide. On TV, it looked amazing. They're running every groove. Like, you could tell, I don't know anything. And I could tell right off the bat how cool that looked. And I think that's what, to me, it's not about the wrecks. It's not even about a dominant car. It's about passing and just a racy track. And I feel like Kansas didn't even put on its best show ever, and it was still really, really good yesterday, in my opinion.
They're running from the very, very bottom white line up to 2-3 inches off the wall. I'm sorry, what do you want?
It's great.
Yeah. All the wrecks happened because they were 4 wide.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a race. It really was. Okay. NASCAR makes some serious announcements over the weekend, Kenny. And we did talk about it during the Kyle Petty charity ride. Ben Kennedy said, okay, we're going to give you all what you wanted. We're going to rotate the championship race every year now. And that, to me, that's big news because we grew up, it was the end at Atlanta or the end at Rockingham. So this year they're going to do Phoenix again because it's already on the schedule. And then next year it's going to be Miami Homestead. But also Ben Kennedy said, look, I want everybody to get this out of your mind. We will never do a championship race at a road course or Daytona and Talladega. That needed to be said. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, the fans were mad that they thought Penske Racing had a stranglehold on Phoenix. And then Kevin Harvick's like, well, sometimes teams get a stranglehold on a championship track. And now Penske's won too many championships. So now they changing the end. All right, I teed it up for you, Kenny. What do you think?
I just think I think not because of Penske and Phoenix or any of that. I just think it'd be neat to see the championship race move around. We've got some great tracks on the series, not that one is a better race than the other or anything like that, but I think they all are deserving of that. I understand taking Daytona and Talladega out because it's such a crapshoot. Whether you get caught in the big one or not. Let them actually race. I remember somewhere I saw Tony Stewart in an interview talking about some of the Daytona winners, and he thought it wasn't like it was in the old days where you won Daytona because you were the fastest or because you slingshotted somebody in the last lap. It's because you were able to still be able to roll when you took the white flag, So taking those two tracks out and taking the road courses out, I believe is good. And I wasn't aware of that they made that decision, but I like it.
Charlie, as a fan, do you agree with Kenny?
I do. He said it perfectly there. And I think because NASCAR gets a lot of heat and we do complain if we don't like things, we should be fair. And it seems like I haven't seen anybody complain about this announcement. It seems like they listened to the fans and they said, we hear you. And it's also probably better on the competition side to rotate it. And it's cool and it feels like a Super Bowl. And whether you're going to go Miami and Phoenix and maybe Vegas and maybe some other tracks, who knows, Darlington, Charlotte, whoever in the future, I think this has been almost 100%. I don't think I've seen one person complain about this. So give NASCAR credit when they do something popular also. Don't just bash them.
Well, here's the deal. And I'm sorry, maybe I got a bad attitude today, but I don't give a if they complain or not. Because if they complain, this just means that they have a phone or they have an iPad or something and they could type something in. Let's just see how the TV does and how the attendance does.
Social media is entertaining, but it is like money now. It has become the root of all evil. Social media sucks. Kenny's right. Just because you type something, okay, well, we're going to end it like that, everybody. I'm going to say this. Everybody's going, after we go to Phoenix, this year to determine the championship, then we're going to go to Miami. And a lot of people are saying we should go to Darlington. I want to see all hell break loose when we determine the championship at Martinsville. Oh boy,
man! Martinsville, you gotta do everything. You don't get caught in the big one most of the time. Most of the time you don't. I mean, that can happen any place. You got pitch strategy, you got taking care of your stuff, you got surviving, you got knowing. I mean, Martinsville would be great.
Yeah, it'd be like Formula One determining their championship at Monaco.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think that was a great show. I had a good time. When we do these, I can just
whoa.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Last week, Road Outlaw Sprint Cars were up in Pennsylvania. I don't know winners or nothing. They were out in Pennsylvania 2 or 3 nights. They were at the Grove and they were at Lincoln.
Yeah.
The Flow Racing nights and Lucas Oil ran 5 nights in a row in Illinois.
Yeah. I'm glad you went there. I was
high limit sprint cars. Kansas City. I said this because you sound like you were almost done, but maybe you weren't.
Yeah, and I was. But you make me happy now.
High limits were at Kansas City, where I know they had great crowds. They were at Tri-City Speedway right here at home at Grant City, where I heard they had a phenomenal show with a great crowd. I mean, and this is before the middle of May, when school's still in, and this was a lot of weeknight stuff, especially the late models in Illinois. And we just had great racing and great crowds. That was pretty cool.
Charlie, I think we've succeeded. I think Kenny Schrader is starting to like the Herm Schrader show.
He doesn't want it to end.
No. Well,
So,
how long? I
yes.
thought you were getting ready to quit. I thought you were getting ready to quit.
I was. Yeah, we're at 56 minutes. So just to go with you, so the World Outlaw Sprint Car race at Lakeside, Kansas, that was a barn burner.
That was see, I tell everybody all the time, I'm only supposed to talk when you're wrong, and that's why I wind up talking so much.
I love it.
That was a high limit sprint car race at Lakeside.
High limit.
High limits were at Lakeside and Granite City. World Outlaws were, I know where they were at the Grove. I don't know if they were at the Grove 1 or 2 nights. They were also at Lincoln, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Then Flo was at Spoon River, Lincoln, Illinois, someplace else. Farmer City was Lucas, and Fairbury was Lucas. If I got that
here
right.
will be my highlights. This is all my brain could take in because we were both digging. High limit race, barn burner finish at Lakeside. Rico wins, and Rico said, "Listen, I got in hot, getting into 3. We had a big old wreck, but Rico went on. Rico said, I'm not going to do a wing stand because, I didn't like that win. So that was a highlight. In that wreck, the high limit race at Lakeside, Kyle Larson gets some wing damage. It was like, 4 of the leaders involved, and Rico wins it.
Sweet was upside down.
Yeah, big
Brad
time.
Sweet got upside down.
Yeah. Then we come about 250 miles down the road, Kenny, to Tri-City Speedway, Granite City, Illinois, and Corey Day does a hell of a job. They had a mean cushion, and I learned a lot when I went to Chico last year. I asked Rico. I said, Rico, are all these tracks out here? And you and I have talked about that. Any track, any dirt track that has a lot of character, it seems like those West Coast guys, they really stand out. And Granite had a mean cushion, and Corey Day, he finally won that race by a quarter of a straightaway. It was a good race.
Well,
very
those
exciting.
guys, they're just good. They're on top of their game. They do it all the time. I mean, Rico, you can bet on Rico. It doesn't make any difference on the track. Rico's going to be stout.
Yeah. And then when we switch over to the Fender cars, the late models at Illinois, they dubbed it. It's new to me. I don't know if they've ever done it. I mean, there's always been Illinois Midget Week. You're the open wheel guy, but like you say, never give up on Rico. Never ever give up on Superman, Jonathan Davenport, because JD. Hey, by the way, Kenny, you were telling me. You said, Herman, did you watch Spoon? I said, I didn't. I fell asleep. But they said that JD, Jonathan Davenport, said, hey, I like Spoon. Reminds me of our Southern tracks.
Yeah.
Banked, kind of a little different dirt, but red still. Yeah, JD wins there, and you think, yeah.
He credited Jason Fager for helping him, too. He came up to lap Jason. And whatever line he was running, he got run a different line because they were on him there for a little bit, and then he pulled back away. But he said, "Yeah, I remember talking to Jason for the races, asking him some stuff, and he moved around a little bit and got going again." But all I was getting at was, oh my gosh, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We probably had 10, 11 great, big. Besides everything else went in the country. You went and raced 2 nights. You didn't race Sunday, I don't think. Did you?
No.
Did you race
Sunday? I didn't go to Quincy. By the way, shout out to our local hero, Rick Canoy. Rick has been racing a long time, and he's getting his due. Rick kicked my ass at Peevely. I run second a lot, second and third. I ended up third.
Yeah, because they pay at the end. Someone else kicked your ass too. Who was
Rick
the other
Canoyer, Chase Holland came up from where is that, Mississippi or Louisiana?
He's Mississippi,
Chase, yeah, but then they all go up the hill. They go up to Quincy, Illinois, and Canoyer passes Chase Holland, and Austin Becerra was second, Chase Holland third. But anyway, shout out to our own Canoyer. Later in his life, later in his career, is winning more than he ever has. I think that's inspiring, and I like that. So good job, Rick Canoyer.
How old is Rick?
Of age.
Of age, yeah. He's grown
like
up.
Close to 48, maybe. I don't know. What I mean is, Rick Canoyer is winning more. Yeah, he's like wine.
Competition's tougher, and he's winning more.
Yeah. And then back to JD. He went to Fairbury and won too. So that was impressive.
Yeah. A lot of those guys were on the gas. And, different ones picked up those good checks. Every race, I think the smallest race paid $20,000 to win. And there was a 25 and a 30. It was a big deal.
Hey, a different subject right now. Have you guys noticed, like in the last 5 minutes, that our internet has finally cleaned up? I mean, we're better. It's a junky day.
Know.
We're gonna have to download this a long time, Charlie.
I know something was going on because it's got your hair all standing up like crazy. There was something in the room.
I'll be honest.
Do you do that in the morning now? Do you make it stand up just so everybody knows you got it, or what do you do?
So here's the deal with
you
me.
make it stand up.
Well, when I do coffee with Kenny, I will on purpose. God, I hate to admit this, but
it's not like you're fooling nobody.
Don Perdome said, Herman, he says it right in front of Rusty at Sturgis. And Perdome goes, Herman, I love it when you get on that thing you do in the morning. Your hair's all messed up. Your glasses are on. I said, really? So I thought, okay. But
and we got to get Perdome, which I know Kyle invited him.
Yeah.
We got to get Perdome on the Kyle Petty ride next year, because you guys have spent a lot more time around him than I have, but what I've been around him, he's like, well, he's the king, he's like the king, our king, Richard.
Yes.
He would be awesome to have on that ride.
Don Perdome, we know him as the Snake, because, he would go against the Mongoose. It was the Snake versus the Mongoose.
Okay, that was Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh my God. You
That's
just
all
brought
that
up a great point. They did show drag racing. What did we call that, Kenny, back in those days? Match races.
Did match races. Yeah. The same thing.
Yeah. I mean, oh my God. A full night at the drag strip was watched Mongoose and the Snake. Just two guys.
Yeah, well, there
it was incredible.
Guys racing too, but they were the featured event.
Yeah, that's how they made their living, right, Kenny? I mean, that's where they said they'd make their real money. They'd get show up money and
just going straight down the line.
Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they really raced, or did him and Mongoose say, okay, you go ahead and win this match. I mean, they still do a whole run, I'll let you
really think about that for a little while, and you get back with me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not real smart, everybody.
So I raced at Ona, West Virginia with that Lures Compact Series. They're out of Indiana. Yeah. And so it's a 4-cylinder car. Nice little pavement track. They were ecstatic over their crowd. They had a good show. We didn't do any good. We had 32 of the compact cars. Qualified 11th, got up to 8th, and broke an axle with 20 to go, 80-lap race. They said, what happened? I said, I don't know. Wherever the back of the transmission is in this thing, because I opened it up, I can't tell what's what. I can find the spark plug wires, but I don't know what's what.
Yeah.
I said, but from the back of the transmission to the tires, there's something broke there. Because it still run fine, it just wouldn't move. It was an axle.
That series has grown in leaps and bounds. I remember doing a banquet for them like 5 years ago, and man, they really show up good.
Yeah, and what they do is they're this is short track racing,
Yep.
not Jonathan Davenport, World Outlaw,
Right.
Lucas Oil, none of that. This is have fun, traveling series. Cars still get too expensive because everybody wants to win, so you spend more money. But they pay $1,000 to win, $150 to start. They pay good non-qualifier money. Try to make it where everybody can go and just help with the bills. But they do a lot of really good things. The neat series is cool.
Yeah. All right. There
You can
we
end
are.
now. You can end
Well,
now
we
if you
don't
want.
really. I
Jokes.
still got
What
more
about
stuff.
jokes?
Jokes.
Yes.
Boy,
Can I
look
say
at me
something?
trying to end.
Hold on.
I think here.
We just
Oh, yeah,
won't
go
let
ahead.
you end.
No, this will
I
be
just
quick.
don't want to quit. I'm having too much fun.
There's one.
Yeah.
This one, I think. Now, I think this one is the funniest one we've ever had. Now, I'm not saying all of them are, but there's
Really?
one that's good. Okay, here we go.
That's
First of
not
all-
going out on a limb very much.
Right.
Okay.
Dirty Mo Media guys, and everybody has the e-commerce merch line. They've got some awesome Herm Schrader merch, shirts, hoodies, hats, all that. Visit shop.dirtymomedia.com to check out all of the new stuff. Okay.
That's the joke?
No.
That's the joke.
Oh, okay.
So I hope not. I mean, the stuff looks good. Okay, 3 jokes that are kind of Mother's Day related, and then the good one that is nothing to do. It's very risque. So here's the Mother's Day
Then
jokes.
the good one.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What do you call a mother cow that just gave birth? What do you call a mother cow that just gave birth?
Mother cow. Oh, man, I don't know.
Decaffeinated. Decaffeinated. It's okay. All right.
Calf.
If a child refuses to nap, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
Oh, that's a good play on
Oh,
Not
that
bad.
was good.
There-
I like
That
I like
was
that one.
That wasn't a video problem. That was a little delay there, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I
I had to
And then-
take the word and then rest. Had to separate. them.
Okay. Last one of the Mother's Day jokes. When does a joke become a mom joke? When does a joke become a mom joke?
Mm.
When it becomes apparent.
Oh,
Another play on
apparent.
words. Apparent.
Yeah, I get it. Apparent.
Okay.
Both jokes are syllable jokes. Those are syllables.
Okay.
Rest.
I think this
Apparent.
one, we'll see if Dirty Mo lets us keep it in. I think they will. This is from
should have
Ethan-
started with this one.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
end. This is
I know.
a comedy
I know.
show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Ethan Clark on X. So a fan of your guys. He said you gotta have this for Herm Schrader. He says, new joke for Herm Schrader. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
My penis was in the Guinness Book of World Records. Okay. My penis was in the Guinness Book of World Records. But then the librarian asked me to take it out.
Oh my God, that's
Come on, that's
great.
pretty good, right? Right? Isn't that the best
That's
one
the
we've
best.
had yet?
The best because
They
it's
got to let us
edgy.
keep it in.
Yes.
Yes, little
They
edgy.
do.
Come on.
They won't. They won't. But it's awesome.
I'm gonna send it to them. I'm gonna keep it in. They can decide to remove it.
Schrader. Yeah, we'll keep it in the Kenny Wallace. Well, yeah, Kenny Wallace YouTube show. Oh yeah, but that was good. Well,
So what are you doing this week, Kenny?
I am. I did Herm Schrader this Monday morning. Tuesday morning, on Kenny Conversation, Randy LaJoy, trying to get Randy into the Hall of Fame. Just Randy got mad at me because I said him and his son Corey were not in the realm of greatest dad driver combinations. And Randy just got so mad at me. I'm like, I called him up. I said, what in the world? I said, I love you. I said, but we were talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Sr., Chase Elliott, Bill Elliott. And so I calmed Randy down. And I said, hey, let's do a Kenny conversation. You are a 2-time Xfinity champion. He is up for being put in the Hall of Fame. And when you look at that Hall of Fame, they got Jack Ingram in there. They got Richie Evans in there. So, I mean, if they're gonna put in Xfinity drivers, and we're gonna talk about Larry Phillips.
Larry Phillips, 7
yeah,
time.
I mean,
was it 7? I don't know how. 5.
My God,
he
was good. Yeah. So while we debate if Randy LaJoie is worthy or not, we're gonna do Kenny conversation with him tomorrow, and then Wednesday I am going to City STL Soccer. As they tell me, Charlie, what am I doing? Handing the ball out? I give them the ball.
Yeah, you got a scarf. You got to wear the scarf, right? You got to hand them the ball. It's like dropping the puck for soccer.
Then Thursday,
I've seen when they drop that puck.
Yeah. Now this is too much information.
I'm going up to Canada to race.
Oh yeah. Hey Kenny, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm going up to Canada racing it last week. I'm watching the World Outlaws Sprint Cars Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thursday, the World Outlaws Sprint Cars are there, and we're going to run the UMP Modifieds with them.
Yeah.
And Friday, we're going over to Saturday. We're racing at Brighton. I think I'm racing at Cornwall Sunday. So we got all racing up in Canada.
Yeah. And I will be racing. I was having fun with you, by the way. That's what I'm doing this week. But Friday, I'll be racing Brownstown, Illinois. And Saturday, I will be racing I-55, Federated Auto Parts Raceway Park. And so, yeah, Charlie, well, we can't. Charlie, what are you doing this weekend?
Oh, big track meet. The big track meet for my daughter is Saturday. That's about it, really, that I can think of. My mom's coming into town. You know what? I might go to that Post Malone Jelly Roll concert at Busch Stadium. We may go to that.
Busch Stadium.
It's actually, it's Tuesday this week.
So, how many people will they sell out? I mean, will they sell there?
Well, with the stage, I mean, obviously, like you could get 48,000 right for baseball, but with the stage, I'm not sure how they configure the stadium. But I would think in the 40s.
Yeah, it'd be big.
Okay, I know we got to end because this is probably one of the longest shows we've ever done. But when you talk about sports venues, you cannot fit. I mean, at the Busch Stadium where the Cardinals have won 2 World Series, Charlie, standing room only for the World Series, you cannot put any more than 50,000 people in there. That's standing in front of people. That's standing room only. So my point is this, when we talk about, there was only 60,000 people at Phoenix, I'm like, do you hear yourself?
Yeah. Have they won 2 World Series in that stadium?
Yes. They won 2006 against Detroit and 2011 against Texas. I'm a baseball freak like Charlie is, so hell, I can remember the last. Yeah.
We can go now.
But yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Real quick, 48,581. 48,581, August 6th, 2022 against the Yankees. Largest crowd ever at the new Busch Stadium.
And what are the crowds now? Well, I know that it was under 30 one time last year. It was the first time ever.
The crowds are back up now, Charlie, for some reason. The Cardinals have won 8 in a row. That's like Kenny Schrader says, winning solves everything.
Just win, baby.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we moved in. The Dodgers lost late last night, or the Cubs lost late last night. I think we're tied for the Central Division, if my thoughts are right. Let's end on this. If we get Charlie to bring that up, are the Cardinals tied with the Cubs?
I got them 1 back.
Why is that? Okay.
Well, ESPN does.
I
don't.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Well, luckily, we'll know at the end of the year.
Yeah, we will. I always say, they go, what do you think of the Cardinals? I'm like, man, drink some beer, eat peanuts. Look up at the standings in August. It's a long season, 162 games. So, all right, everybody, we want to thank our sponsor, Fox Factory Vehicles, for bringing everyone today's episode of Herm Schrader. We are thankful for their continued partnership with myself and Dirty Mo Media. Fox Factory Vehicles delivers the thrill. Build and price your dream ride today at foxfactoryvehicles.com. Fox Factory Vehicles, where performance meets precision. All right, everybody, that is it for Herm Schrader. Until the next time, we'll see you later.
Later.